Welcome to Health Club with Julia. I'm your host, health coach, and registered dietitian, Julia Campagna. I'm on a mission to bridge the gap between looking your best and living your life to the fullest. After years of over dieting, struggling with disordered eating, and destroying my social life, I finally found how to reach my dream physique without sacrificing the things I love. Now I'm sharing all my strategies and education with you. We'll be talking all things health, including hormones, metabolism, and lifestyle to help you cut out the confusion and start living. So get cozy and join the club. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. As always, I am so happy you are here. Today, we are going to be talking about detoxing, which is really fun, and I can't wait to dive into this because I ain't talking about the fad detoxes out there. I'm talking about true, natural detox pathways within the body. So let's talk about it. How to support natural liver detox and lower your inflammation. So here's the thing. People equate detoxes with these quick things, right? When you think, oh, I'm gonna go on a detox, it's like, okay, let me grab green juices and this skinny tea and I'm gonna detox my body. And it's just not it. That is just no in my book. Juice cleanses and your 2-week detox drinks are not what I'm talking about when I mean how to support liver detox. That is not doing shit for your body in the long run. Could you see some short-term success with that? Yeah, but you know what? It's probably because you're shitting yourself all the time and just wreaking havoc on your insides and just not doing what your body's meant to do. So yeah, it's not gonna, long term, in the long run, those things are doing shit for you. And so if you don't have great natural detoxification pathways in general, you're never going to feel like you're naturally detoxing your body. You're always gonna just grab these juice cleanses and 2-week detox things that are promoted all over the internet. All over the internet. Don't fall for those things because they're everywhere. And they get you. It's like clickbait. How to detox in 1 week. How to detox in 2 weeks. Detoxing workout. Don't fall for that BS. It is straight up BS. And no, your body has a natural detoxification pathway to help with all of this. And it does not include taking green juices or skinny teas or other detox supplements that are out there. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Anyway, question for you. Have you ever come off of a vacation, or maybe it wasn't a vacation, but something that you wanted to lose some weight after? Maybe you weren't feeling super great after this vacation or trip or whatever it was, and you're like, ugh, I gotta lose some weight. So you're like, I gotta detox, I gotta take a break, I gotta detox my body. And you do a juice cleanse. Have any of you listening to this ever thought, ugh, I need a detox? Oh my God, that trip just was too much, I need to detox. And do you think doing a liquid diet for a little while or a juice cleanse is gonna be your answer? I know I have been there before, and I actually have done a juice cleanse where I was literally just drinking juice, and I believe I was allowed vegetables for 3 days. It was miserable. Oh my God, I will never do that again. It was really not fun at all. It was literally I think 4 juices in a day and vegetables. Please tell me how that's number one, sustainable or healthy or enjoyable. Whoever does juice cleanses on the regular, why? They're miserable. They really suck. I don't know. No. Just no. No is my word for this podcast episode. Just no. But anyway, regardless, your juice cleanse doesn't work like that. So we're going to get really down to the nitty-gritty with this episode and talk about what you can do instead of grabbing juice cleanses or detox pills or teas, what you can do to actually help support your natural detox pathways. So I'm really excited about it to kind of debunk the whole juice cleanse, detox pill era. Thankfully, I feel like we are pulling away from that era, but it's still out there. You still see those things there. So it's still roaming around media that there's all these things to help you detox when you actually can just support your natural detox pathway. So, what are the things that make up your natural detoxification pathway? That would be your liver and your kidneys. They are the organs that help us to naturally detox. That is their purpose, to detox and flush things out of our system, flush toxins, excess hormones, things out of our body, so it doesn't recirculate and cause issues and inflammation and other things. They help your body get rid of, like I said, toxins, excess hormones, different bacterias, lots of things they work on getting rid of. So, what affects this? Lifestyle choices. If you have really shitty lifestyle choices, it's going to affect the way that your body naturally detoxes. So, for example, if you are somebody who has really low fiber in their diet and you have close to no fiber, and you're not pooping regularly, your liver detox is affected. You're not able to excrete things, especially excess hormones with lack of poop. One of the biggest or most helpful ways to get rid of excess hormones from the body is to poop regularly. If you're not pooping regularly, those excess hormones can be recirculated into the body. That's where you fall into the trap of like estrogen dominance and things like that. So make sure that you are pooping regularly is the takeaway. One big takeaway from this episode: poop regularly. If you're not, let's chat, because chronic constipation is no bueno, and it really can just not only make you feel bad because you quite literally like have shit inside that is like weighing you down, but it's also causing more inflammation, excess hormones, all those other things going on too. So let's chat if you don't poop regularly. But how does a lack of detox, like natural detoxification, affect your inflammation? Let's go over that. So one instance that we can talk about, so it can be affected in several ways, but I'm going to talk about one instance. So let's say you have low stomach acid, right? That could be from, again, just poor lifestyle choices, poor nutrition choices, different things. But you have low stomach acid. That means that you have low digestive enzymes, which digestive enzymes kind of does what it sounds like. It helps with the digestion process. There's different enzymes that help with different food breakdown, like lipase helps with fat breakdown, etc. So you don't have, or you have low digestive enzymes, the thing that helps us digest food. Therefore, you can't break down food effectively. If you can't break down food effectively, it leads to fermentation of different foods in the GI tract, which leads to more inflammation. And this buildup of inflammation causes everything else to back up, and then your natural detox is compromised. So it's like it is a cycle. If you have compromised detoxification pathways, odds are it's caused by something else. It's not that your detoxification pathways aren't working necessarily. Something else is causing that. So that goes hand in hand with, there's, like I said, a million things that can cause disruption of your natural detoxification pathways. But it also does cause more inflammation just by like backing up in your system, fermenting foods, causing inflammation, etc. And it's all just a cycle. They're all related to each other. So let's go over how we can actually help our natural detoxification pathways and help get rid of some of that inflammation and other shit that's just flying around in your body that we don't need: toxins, bacteria, excess hormones, all the things that I mentioned. So I already mentioned this one, but the number one thing is to poop more. And I want this to be an open conversation about poop. Like, if you're weirded out by that, then you may skip this part of it, but this is part of my job, is to talk about poop. But really, it is so important. Like, yeah, I'm sitting here giggling about it, but it really is that important. This is what quite literally helps us clear things out. When you think about it, like that, so stool is a buildup of everything. Food, obviously, also takes with it toxins, bacteria, excess hormones, all these things that I mentioned. It's all in your stool. And the more that we can get that out, the more that we are shuttling all of the things out of our body and helping our body detox of these things. So you want to make sure that you are helping to clear things out. So what happens if you are not pooping regularly? What can you do to help have more regular bowel movements? There's a few things, I'll name 3. Number 1 being fiber. Fiber helps to bulk up stool and shuttle it out. So if you have a diet non-existent fiber, although you're probably constipated. On the other hand of that, if you have too much fiber as well, you can be constipated. So that is something that I've actually seen with clients where their fiber is really high and they're like, I can't poop. I'm like, well, you're having upwards of 55, 60 grams of fiber a day. That is a shit ton. No pun intended with that. But the kind of like sweet spot with fiber for females is going to be anywhere from like 23 to 28 grams of fiber a day. Some people can tolerate more than that. And so if you have, 30, 35, maybe even 40 grams of fiber and you're still having regular bowel movements, that's fine. But you want to make sure that you are in the sweet spot, especially if you are having low fiber, not enough fiber. I've seen people that have like 8 grams of fiber a day and I'm like, dude, you are not having any fiber in your diet. Let's up that. So make sure you're having adequate fiber that is going to help shuttle things out of the body, bulk up your stools. So fruits, vegetables, those are going to be your main sources of fiber as well as whole grains. Those are going to be your top 3 things. Make sure you're getting whole grains, fruits, and veggies in your diet to help with your fiber and help you poop more. Second thing is more water. Kind of self-explanatory with this one. Water helps move things along as well, helps keep the body hydrated, and we need it to kind of push things along as well. So make sure that you're getting enough water. I would suggest roughly on average like a minimum 80 to 85 ounces of water a day, minimum. You don't necessarily have to have a gallon of water every day. Also, if you have too much water, that can also make you dehydrated, fun fact. So just like if you're drinking tons of water, if you're having like a gallon and a half of water every single day, you might actually be causing yourself to be dehydrated because you're like peeing so much and like shuttling things out so much that you're actually dehydrating your body. So you might want to add some sodium or other electrolytes to your water if that's the case for you. So you don't necessarily have to have a full gallon of water every day, but I would say minimum 80, 85 ounces of water every day. And then the third thing to help you poop more is just more movement too. Movement helps move things around in your body as well. So one thing I love doing, especially as it gets nicer out, is I go for walks after dinner. I'll have dinner and then I'll go for a walk, because especially too, like if you think about it, if you're just having dinner and then immediately sitting down on the couch watching TV or going to bed, you're not using that food for anything, and that's where digestion can kind of be a little bit slow and cause fermentation and things like that. So you want to move. And it doesn't have to be a walk. You could literally just like do some chores, or just don't like, try not to eat and then just sit down all day long. Try to get some movement in, even if it's just for a short little while. Try to get something in so that you're helping to move things along. Like I said, I love to do it after dinner. Sometimes I'll do it midday, like after lunch, but it definitely does help the digestion process when you move after food. So more movement throughout the day. More movement in general does help too. Just daily exercise does help with digestion, but more specifically after meals is definitely going to help with digestion of that meal. So those are 3 things that you can do to help you poop more. If you needed, there are supplements that you can take, like magnesium glycinate is a good one to help with regular bowel movements, but I would start with overall lifestyle things first and then potentially go supplement route. But the second thing that helps with your natural detoxification pathways and lowering inflammation is the anti-inflammatory diet. So as it sounds, it's going to help lessen inflammation and help with your natural detoxification pathways. So think of the The golden diet, so to speak, is the Mediterranean diet. That is high anti-inflammatory diet. Our Western diet has a lot of inflammatory foods in it, so try to adopt the Mediterranean diet as much as possible. That is like the golden standard of a healthy diet. But in case you are not looking that up right now, some things to focus on with an anti-inflammatory diet is 1, reducing highly processed foods. And I mentioned the breakdown of like kinds of food in my previous episode. It was, I believe, 2 episodes before this. So I think it was episode 43, my nutrition question Q&A. I mentioned the breakdown of like groupings of food, and it was whole food diet, or whole foods, then minimally processed, then processed, and then ultra processed. So you want to reduce the processed and ultra processed foods as much as possible and make most of your diet whole food based / in moderation the moderately processed foods. So highly processed foods are going to be things like Pop-Tarts and Oreos and what else off the top of my head? Some creamers, like Coffee Mate, I think is the brand. Like those are highly processed. There's a bunch of other ones, but the highly processed cookies, crackers, cereal, all of those kinds of things that are really, really highly processed foods and contain little to no like whole food ingredients in them, you really want to reduce those as much as possible and basically make up the majority of your diet as whole foods. And I also talked about this in a previous episode. I don't know the episode number, but what does moderation even mean? I think that was what it was labeled. And basically saying that your diet, there's 2 terms for diet. Diet meaning you're on a diet, like you're eating less, and then diet in terms of my diet is what I consume. Your diet, not going on a diet, but your diet should naturally have whole foods in it because that is what we are bred and born to consume. And I think in that episode I had said something along the lines of, it's funny that when people say I need to go on a diet, they're having the foods that they're meant to have. So meaning when they're not going on a diet, they're having the foods that they're not meant to have anyway. So little side note there, I got a little sidetracked. But basically, anti-inflammatory diet, your diet should be mostly made up of whole foods. And that should just be the basis of everybody's diet anyway. I know that's not the case for everybody, but making sure that most of your food is whole foods. Fruits, vegetables, fish, seafood, poultry, red meat, every now and then, nuts, seeds, legumes, whole grains, all of those things. And reducing processed and ultra-processed food as much as possible. The second part of the inflammatory diet is reducing alcohol. I know that this can be tough for some people, but it is an inflammatory substance. So try to reduce that as much as possible. If you think about it, like I was thinking about this the other day. So I do drink. I'm not somebody who doesn't ever drink. I don't drink a lot. I'll have honestly, I have at least one drink almost every weekend, but it's like one drink. And it's not every single weekend, but most weekends I'll have one drink. The most that I'll have on a weekend is like 3 drinks if I'm at an event or something like that. But yes, I do drink. But when I think about it, every time I drink, the next morning I wake up, my eyes are so puffy, my face gets so puffy, and I'm having alcohol that's inflammatory. So I don't know if anybody else experiences that, but every time I drink the next morning, I am a puff ball. Not surprising because it's an inflammatory substance. So you want to reduce that as much as possible. And then also too, you might need to reduce gluten temporarily. If you're trying to reset your detoxification pathway or just help improve that, you might want to just cut back on gluten or remove that temporarily until things are flowing a little bit better again. So that's one thing that's like an iffy thing. Not everybody needs to do that. Some people will benefit from it. So depends on the person, but you can do that as well. But overall, think about anti-inflammatory diet as a Mediterranean diet and what that is made up of, which I did give the list. Legumes, beans, nuts, seeds, fish, shellfish, poultry, all of that. The fourth thing that you need to do to help with your natural detoxification pathway and reducing inflammation is manage your stress. I know I say this in a lot of my episodes because stress really does impact so much. That's why I always talk about managing your stress. And again, I'm going to reiterate that some stress is necessary for the body, but the overwhelming amounts of stress that you experience on a daily basis is not great. We want to manage that as much as possible. This is super, super important. The more stressed your body is, the less optimally bodily functions are going to work. So you want to reduce that to make sure that your body is functioning as optimally as possible. So do things like reading, going for walks, yoga, meditation. My favorite that I've mentioned in a few of my previous podcast episodes is belly breaths, dancing, listening to music. There's way more. Drawing. There's a ton of things that you can do to reduce stress, but make sure you're doing that on a daily basis. And I say this and reiterate this over and over because people don't understand how important stress management is. They don't do it often, hardly at all. Maybe on a weekend day, they're like, oh yeah, no work, this is great, I feel less stressed. And then all week, Monday through Friday, they're stressed. No, do something every single day to help with that. It could be something for 5 minutes, but do something every single day that's going to help manage your stress and lower that as much as possible. Again, it's necessary to have some stress, but this chronic stress that a lot of people in society now face is not great, and you need to manage that as much as possible. So that's number 3. And the fourth and last thing that I'm going to say to help manage not manage your stress. The fourth thing that I'm going to say to help improve your natural detoxification pathways and lower inflammation is supplements. Again, this is going to be based on person to person. Some people will need different supplements. Some people might not need any, but this is a general term supplement. I'm just going to list a couple, but number 1 being vitamin D. This is one of the vitamins that is most common a deficiency for people, especially for people who live in colder climates some parts of the year. So for me, for example, I am in the Northeast and it gets freaking cold and snowy and I hate winter, but I'm not getting a lot of vitamin D in the winter. During the summer, just 15 minutes in the sun does give you your daily dose of vitamin D. So if you're in the sun all the time, you probably don't need to supplement that. You're probably getting enough vitamin D. But if you are not, so someone like me who does have winters, experiences winters, I do take a vitamin D over the winter because I'm not getting out in the sun. I'm hardly getting outside at all in the winter. It's really sad. But I'm not getting my vitamin D. So I take that supplement. And you can take vitamin K along with vitamin D. Vitamin K does help the absorption of vitamin D. So little side note about vitamin D there. But another one is just a multivitamin. Multivitamins are not created equal. So if you want my recommendations, let me know, DM me and just say, hey, I was listening to a podcast episode. I think this will be 45. And you mentioned taking multivitamin. Which one do you recommend? I'll give you my recommendations, but you can take multivitamin. Another good one is fish oil, especially if you do not have a lot of omega-3s in your diet. A fish oil is very good. I try to get like salmon in at least once a week, but sometimes I don't. I don't have a lot of omega-3s. And again, you can get omega-3s from other food sources, hemp seeds, chia seeds, those ones are great, which I do consume more than salmon. But again, if you don't consume a lot of omega-3s in your diet, fish oil would be a great one. And there's other ones, but those would be my top ones. Maybe a vitamin B in there as well, because that's very important too. But targeted supplements to help with your natural detoxification pathways as well. And I'm talking supplements that are like natural supplements, like vitamin D, a fish oil, multivitamin, vitamin B. I'm not talking like fitness supplements, if you will, or detox supplements. I'm not talking those. I'm talking natural supplements that you can take. But those would be my top 4 things that I would say to help with your natural detoxification pathways. So to recap, poop more, incorporate more of an anti-inflammatory diet, manage your stress, and potentially targeted supplements based on your needs. But that covers what I would suggest for improving natural detox. Don't just hope and pray that a juice cleanse or detox tea or anything else like that will work, because again, you might experience some short-term success with that just because it's clearing your colon and making you go to the bathroom more. but it's not actually helping the root cause of your actual detoxification pathways. So that is my 2 cents on that. Let me know, as always, if you have any questions regarding this episode. I'd love to talk about it with you further, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Health Club with Julia podcast. If you loved the episode, share the podcast and tag me, and subscribe so you don't miss any further episodes. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a DM. Thanks for being a part of the club. See you next time.